View Cattle Company, and Sweezy Ranch. View bulls at midkab.com. Online bidding at Live Auction TV. Again, that's Live Auction TV for online bidding. This is the 28th annual production sale of the Mid-Kansas Angus and Simmental breeders. Wednesday, March 15th, 1 p.m. at La Crosse Livestock Market Center. Contact any other cooperating breeders for more information. Website again is midkab.com.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Everybody's 0-0 right now. Everybody's undefeated. Nobody has any losses, and nobody has any wins. So, it's you regroup and you start over essentially. And so, you can't worry about the losses. You can't worry about the big win at Dodge.
It's a grinded out game. It's gonna be possession by possession. It's gonna be one of those games that we gotta stay tough. We gotta stay mentally tough. We gotta stay physically tough. And we gotta rebound and play defense, and hopefully, we can execute offensively better than we have against them in the past.
They're playing a tough league, and so they're battle tested just like we are, and they just got some good players. They got 3 seniors that are really good.
They are my 1A1 state favorite. There's going to be no team in the class that can match their depth, can match their defensive guard play, and can match their ability to simply create turnovers and steals.
Derek's a guy that, one, can get the ball out quickly out of his hands, but also likes to push the ball downfield and take some chunk shots with their play-action pass game. So he's a really good match for that.
He does. Tapped around. That's it. It's over. Kennesaw State wins the ASUN championship, and they're going to the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history.
Delorso for 3, no, rebound, Pepper, and that's it! The UNC Asheville Bulldogs are the top dogs in the Big South and are headed to the NCAA tournament.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Welcome into the Tuesday show. Steve Webster with you today. We've got a fun show today. We're going to have a state championship celebration in here as we will welcome in the Great Bend, the Lady Panther State Bowling Champions in studio, along with their coach, David Feldbauer. Boys, the Cougars, Cole Rife will be in here. Region 6 playoffs tonight at Barton Community College. The Lady Cougars take on Cloud County, and the men take on the Huns from Hutchinson tonight, who come in here trying to avoid being swept in 3 games for the season. Yeah, big matchups tonight. Should be good. And the Stafford boys will be in today. Head coach Cole Smith, Justin Hildebrand, Colson Minks, Dakota Rodriguez. If you played in the state championship game in 1947, give us a call today, 792-2479. We'd be glad to hear from you today.
Can bring them on the show tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah, we can. That'd be perfect, wouldn't it? Yeah. So we're going to be talking then. Good show here lined up today. Joining me, Mike Corson. Good to see you, my friend. Didn't see you since you look better at 12:30 in the afternoon than you do at 6 when you come in here.
Not every day.
Well, I know. Someday. And then Mr. Chicago Bull, who is wearing his Bull fashions once again because he got inappropriate sports gear while he was playing football at Emporia State. We were able to get to the bottom of that. You're not able to get
Sing it from the masses. Let them hear it.
Free sports gear just because you're a Hornet.
It didn't fit anyone else. They couldn't get rid of it. It's just, I've benefited.
How many Bull shirts do you have?
A lot. Because I have a red and black polo, a gray polo, this white one.
Well, can't you get like a Panthers thing just to...
Honestly, I should try. Yeah. See if we can't, or if, at least not over the Bull, but put it on the other side.
Yeah,
that way it's something, you know.
Those must have been real neat about 15 years ago.
Yeah, back when Derrick Rose won the youngest MVP ever, it would have been quite.
Okay, down boy. We don't need to go into that. Okay, even though you're a Bulls fan. All right, let's get to our sounds the past 24 hours or so. Jeremy Combs. Everybody starts 0-0. Hutchinson in town tonight. Cougars just handed them their worst loss ever at the Hutch Sports Arena. earlier this season. It was closer when they played January 31st. Barton winning 97-89. And now they've got to beat them for the third straight time. Hutch has been playing much better. We'll talk about it with Cole coming up in just a moment. They go in. They've won 5 straight. Barton, well, they're not playing too bad right now. They have won 10 of their last 11 games and come in with a winning streak of 7, knocked off the regular season champs Dodge City last Wednesday.
Had the old adage, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in one season. Where did that come from? Because in my sports coverage days, it happens all the time.
Well, yes, sometimes it happens 4 times.
Yeah, so I don't know where the 3 comes. It seems kind of arbitrary.
It's still hard to do. Isn't it harder to beat someone 3 times in a row than it is 2 times in a row?
It just depends on how good that other team is.
I was gonna say, I think the adage is it's hard to beat a good team 3 times in one season.
I didn't say that, though.
No,
okay,
but that,
all right, very good.
I do think it does get harder every time you do get another victory against a team, because then they get to see what you're going to try to do against them.
Or if you just completely pound the tar out of them in the first meeting, then they just know they're going to get the tar pounded out of them in the second meeting and the third meeting and the fourth meeting.
Too soon.
You could set the tone. That is a nice little tone-setting mollywop in the first meeting.
And it happened. Yeah, well, anyway. Okay, Alan Clark, not Aaron Clark's relation. He's the head coach of the Barton Lady Cougars. They play Cloud County tonight. I would consider the first 2 games ugly, but Cloud County couldn't score against them. 41 and 42 points in the first 2 meetings. Barton scored in the 50s. Again, we'll get a preview of that coming up with Cole in just a moment. The winners of tonight's game play Friday at Friends University in Wichita. The men's matchup between Barton, the winner of Barton and Hutch, would be either Pratt or Coffeyville. And the Lady Cougars, if they go on and win tonight, which we are certain they will, they'll take on either Garden City or Butler on Friday in Wichita. Pat Stiles, I'm telling you what, those Mavericks of Donovan West, who used to be the Blue Streaks of Highland, they're pretty good. It ain't gonna matter. They're gonna walk out there and see those Central Plains uniforms. They're gonna fold like a tent.
They're playing the dynasty, the program.
Exactly.
So that's always a tough division based on record, because there can be a big gap between 1A and anything else they play. St. Mary's Colgan always goes into state, it seems like, with a bad record, and then they end
Hayden.
Yeah. So,
and then any of the private schools.
I think Colgan's actually undefeated this year, so that's really frightening. But yeah, so the 4 seed, so the 4-5 is supposed to be the best one in the bracket. I just think you want the name CP on your shirt when you go to state.
I think it'll be good. Aaron Clark will be out there leading the Oiler Nation tomorrow over in Dodge City. And if you see, are you taking the wrap vehicle tomorrow?
I am.
Okay, if you see that truck wandering through Dodge City, just say, "Hey, Aaron, follow us. We'll take you to the game."
If you see it out in a cornfield, I know what I'm doing. I'm calibrating the GPS. Just don't worry.
Don't cheat yourself. The media knows Dodge City is one of the better venues because of the hospitality room.
All you do is just keep going around that curve, okay? Where we turn to go to the high school, just keep going around that curve. Okay.
There we go.
And then when you leave, you turn left and then follow that road all the way.
Oh, no, it's just that easy.
Don't go across the street.
I'll look both ways.
Okay. Very good. So Pat Stiles on the show with yesterday on the Prowl with Mike Horson and Connor Nickel. He's going to join us for a special preview look at the state tournament tomorrow, saying Maxville his favorite in Class 1A D1.
I was going to guess. Was he talking about Central Plains or Maxville?
Oh, Maxville.
But yeah, the matchups and the...
Well, we're going to have a busy studio tomorrow, too. We're going to have Maxville's coming up. Jeff Kuckelman, his 3 co-captains. Lacrosse, they may be here, too. We'll may have to separate the teams as they come down. Should we have somebody come in the back door and you don't want to go down the same tunnel because then we'll find out that's
I
what
can
happens
play-
in Michigan, you know?
I can play security. It'll
Okay.
be like the old offensive line days, keeping them away from each
Yeah,
other.
but you don't have the girth you used to, though. I don't know.
That's true,
these
but
guys-
but these guys aren't quite the size of the defensive linemen I was going up against either. I imagine.
Ryan Kuckelman's pretty big.
He might be.
He can look you in the eye.
I guess I was thinking the players, but if the coaches start scrapping, we may be in trouble.
Okay. So lacrosse, we're going to have them on tomorrow. Stafford Trojans are going to be here. You can see all the brackets on GreatBendPost.com. Just go to the sports section, and you'll be able to see those. Dan Orlovsky, I know you're getting ready to go into a diatribe here, like at least 7 minutes long. You have 12 seconds to talk about Derek Carr going to the Saints.
I don't know why the Saints won't rebuild. They keep extending out their contract or their salary cap nightmare by extending and just restructuring it, and they're not a team that's really competing for a Super Bowl, so they're trying to really just make the playoffs, and I don't know why that's their goal.
Very good. Tight,
Can I
concise.
add just one quick thing? It's just came in like at 12 today.
Okay, all right. Breaking news.
The Packers have given Aaron Rodgers permission to seek a trade with the Jets.
Okay.
Like they're allowing his agent to work on that front to get a trade on there.
Okay. Kennesaw State punching their ticket. They beat Liberty 67-66. That was the call on ESPN2. And UNC Asheville, the Bulldogs, they win 77-73. They beat Campbell.
Did you see the other one, the Fairleigh, whoever they are, the small team, won the semifinal game, but in the championship game, the other team was ineligible because they're transitioning to Division I, so they got in as a semifinal winner.
Is that Fairleigh Dickinson or Farley Dickinson? I
heard Fairleigh.
Okay, well, I
But
really,
I've never heard of them before.
Fairleigh Dickinson. Okay, there you go. There's your sounds the past 24 hours. Jam-packed show. Cole Rife's going to set the stage for us tonight. Cougar basketball at the Kirkman Center. That's up next on Sports.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Explore the world of Rossum's Universal Robots presented by Barton Theater with multiple showings from March 2nd through the 4th and March 9th through the 11th. In this sci-fi suspense classic, humans have created robots meant to serve humankind, but the robots have other plans and an epic battle between man and machine erupts. The show has been adapted and modernized by Barton Theater from the original 1921 production. Visit shows.bartonccc.edu for tickets.
B&D Herefords and Angus 37th Annual Production Sale coming Monday, March 20th at 1 p.m. at the ranch, 1 mile east of Odin, Kansas. Selling will be 50 Age Advantage Angus Bulls, 50 Age Advantage Hereford Bulls, 50 Angus and Black Baldy Spring Pairs. Join us for the season opener. Come find your next herd bull. That's B&D Herefords and Angus 37th Annual Production Sale, Monday, March 20th at the ranch, 1 mile east of Odin, Kansas. Lunch at noon. For more information, contact Craig Barron at 620-786-9703. Sale will be broadcast on BB Auction.
When you or someone you care for needs extra healthcare help at home, Golden Belt Home Health and Hospice, part of the University of Kansas Health System, is here for you. Depending on your needs, your home health team may include a nurse, therapist, and aide. They'll help with care after hospitalization, including wound care, medication management, and more. Check with your primary care provider to see if Golden Belt Home Health and Hospice can help you or your loved one.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. Rife on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
King of the Twitter machine is in, Cole Rife. A couple big games tonight out at the Kirkman Center. Barton women take on Cloud County at 5:30 tonight, and then for the third time this year, it'll be Barton against Hutch for folks traveling down the alley from north to south, wanting to place their over-under tonight on the women's game. What do we got, 97? 98?
For the over?
Over.
I think that's probably safe. I'd say...
right around in that area?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the previous two meetings, Barton held them in the low 40s, and then they scored in the mid-50s. So I think, 95 would be safe.
Okay, because that's the way they played. Alan Clark was in here on Monday, and that was yesterday, right? Okay. And I was listening to that game because they'd lost 2 out of 3, and they went to Cloud, and it wasn't any better. I mean, they were down like 17-11, I think, the score in the first quarter. And then they finally got going in the second quarter, and then they were spot on for most of the rest of the season. So,
yeah, you talk about that first semester, Cloud County. I mean, they were coming off a Hutchinson win. Got a win against Hutch. They got a win against Seward County. At that time, we didn't really know, where Seward County was going to go, so it was still a big-time win. So, yeah, that was a hot Cloud County team that Barton went into their place that no one had beaten them before at home and got a big victory. And then they came down and, to Grape Bend here in 2023 and, kind of the same scores. So, yeah, you got to expect the same. It's a Brett Erkenbrack. You talk about Hall of Fame coaches and their ability at this time of the year. He's one of the best. 30-plus years, national championship back in the early 2000s. So, yeah, you always take those guys with a lot of respect coming in. So, I mean, I would imagine it's going to be a grinded-out, possession-by-possession game like Coach Clark said yesterday.
Barton almost got Dodge City.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, we went into that game, and we were talking on the show last week, and I was like, hey, if they just go out there and put some fear into them, maybe they don't win, but if they're down, in the final couple minutes and they're within striking distance, I would feel good about that.
But then
when you're up by 14 in the third quarter, you can start getting greedy. You're like, okay, let's go win this game. And then to lose that game, and we talked about the insignificance of it, but man, it was disheartening. Like, that was a huge buzzkill to me because they put so much effort into that game. I mean, they've had time, there's been almost a week off, but like, there's so much poured into that game. You could tell the emotion. Like, it was a hype game. It was one of the best crowds I've seen at Dodge City in the years I've been covering Barton, so hats off to them, getting fans out there. There's so much into that, so much emotion to come up empty. And then Dodge, I mean, rightfully so. They've won 21 straight games, but that's a cocky group. And, like, almost every one of those players was living it up and, playing to the crowd and looking over the Barton side, and hyping things up. And so, I mean, they play with a little bit of edge. They play with a little bit of flair. But, man, they back it up. They have a lot of talent. So, but at the end of the day, you did put a little bit of question in the back of their mind, like, hey, this team can play with us. Like, we're not invincible. We've won 21 straight, but this team, they're close. So maybe you get to see them on a neutral floor in Wichita, and who knows what happens, but that's still a long ways away. You still got to win some big games.
Cloud tonight, you mentioned the matchup, and Barton's been pretty consistent, so we'll see if they can put up a few more points tonight. But
yeah, I feel good. I mean, I feel good about this. There's no team outside of Dodge City in this conference that I felt like, had a striking chance against this Barton team. I just always feel like Coach Clark is 1 or 2 steps ahead of everybody in this conference these last couple of years outside of, last year Hutchinson was right there, and then this year, obviously, Dodge City. But other than that, I always feel like, they're always a step ahead or two. And now you start to get this part of the season, that coaching aspect of it really comes into play. So, like, I feel good about the matchup, but, when it's one and done with, 18 and 19-year-old girls and guys, like, you just never know for sure.
Has Barton ever beat Hutch 3 times in one season?
They won 3 straight back in 2015. Now was it in the same season? I can't remember. They won 3 straight. I think it stretched over 2 years, but it was like 2015. They won, 3 straight.
But it wasn't 3 times in one season.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, because they haven't played. I mean, they played in the postseason 2018, and Hutch beat them in the semifinals. So you talk about they haven't even played each other 3 times, maybe twice in the last 15 years. Yeah, so they don't have really a whole lot of opportunities. For as big of a rivalry as it is, they don't meet a ton in the playoffs. This is the 15th meeting all time in the playoffs in a span of, 50-plus years.
Yeah, the cat in the hat year was when Hutch got fire and knocked the Cougs out, and then they just they basically took Barton apart and then destroyed Coffeyville in the championship game. So that's got my, my nego wire up a little bit, thinking, we got to go beat these guys again. And so Jeremy Combs has said, I've heard you mention it too, Hutch is playing different than they did. They figured some things out. What did they figure out?
They're not all in on their press anymore, which is good because teams are ripping it. Teams are getting down and scoring at a high rate, getting layups, getting dunks. So they're still pressing. They're still going to press, but they're not all in on it. Yeah, they'll back off a little bit if they don't get a really favorable trap. They back off. The other thing they're doing in that style with Tommy was they used to shoot a lot of threes. This team doesn't hit very well. So I think they realized
they were
that
shooting a lot of threes, but not making a lot of
they were shooting a lot of threes and not connecting. So now they've dialed back down on those threes. I mean, it was not out of the norm for them to shoot 40-plus threes a game. Now, during this 5-game winning streak, they've shot anywhere between 22 and 29 times.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, but I think that's about market value, in the Jayhawk Conference for amount of threes. But yeah, it's still a decent amount. But for them, that's quite a bit of cut down. So you're reducing one of the things that you did really bad, and then also not pressing. You're not giving up as many buckets. This is a team that was giving up, on average 92 a game. But this 5-game winning streak, no one scored over 79. So for them, that's really, really big. So those types of things, free throw shooting is a lot better during this 5-game winning streak. So, yeah, this is a different team. And I was just talking about this matchup, and I was like, I really didn't like the draw for Barton, and that's weird to say because they've won 7 straight games, worked their way into a tie for second place in the standings with Coffeyville.
But then you got Hutch.
And then I was like, and I look at the bracket, and I was like, the only team in the entire season that swept Barton this year was Coffeyville. You're on the same side as Coffeyville. Okay. And then you got this Hutch team who's your rival. You beat them twice already. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain. But, the only way they get in the tournament is to win the Region 6. So now they have a chance to come in to Great Bend and upset the Cougars, who are nationally ranked. So this is a fun matchup for both of the two teams. And, obviously Hutch is going to come in pretty excited. But Barton, these are the two hottest teams in the league right now.
So I'd ask you about, how they match up with them, but I don't know. Barton can match up with anybody depending on which matchup that they want to send out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it would be kind of it could be altered as far as what type of defense we see. Yeah. I think you saw the evolution of the defense shifting for Hutch in that second game in late January here in Great Bend. It wasn't as hard pressed as we saw at the sports arena, but now it's going to be completely different. So, they match up well. I don't think this is a team. In fact, I think Barton has probably the lineup that doesn't match up with other opponents more so than the other way around. But, we talked about the two guys with back to the basket and Rutysere and LeCandro, and then you got, the guard play. But, yeah, I feel good about the matchup with anybody. And I think if they could get by Hutch tonight, and to me, it's a fairly reasonable coin toss. If they could get by Hutch, I feel really good about their chances going forward, even if they, match up with Coffeyville in the semifinals, get on a neutral floor. But they just got to get that first one out of the way. It's only 2 years into the Combs era, but, losing at home in the first round last year to Pratt on a buzzer beater layup, that stung. So to get that out of your mindset, especially for those returning sophomores, say, hey, we can win here at home. And then once they get past that, I think they'll be okay.
I think sometimes as fans, we worry about Hutch more than the players do.
I agree.
Because we know what this goes back, years and years and years. These guys are coming in for a couple of years, or maybe one. So
yeah, it's the name brand. They're definitely, if you look at junior college basketball, it's a blue blood. Even nationwide for Hutchinson. So that's a credit to what they've been able to do with that program consistently over the decades. So yeah, it's a fun matchup, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's never fun if you're going to come up on the wrong side to your rival in a game where you're favored at home.
You like quarterfinals at home?
No, I don't.
With the best record?
I don't. And it's benefited Barton for the majority. We haven't gone on the road since like 2018, even in the first round. But at quarterfinals, it's consistently been benefiting Barton. But even with that said, I think the experience for the kids, should be on a neutral floor in a nice gym, a nice arena. That's the experience of getting in the postseason. Like, that's the reward. Hey, let's go play at a fun gym. Even if it's one like, Hartman or whatever it may be, like, that's part of the experience.
Yeah.
So if to play on the home floors, I get it, attendance-wise. It sells more for those home teams. It's a little bit easier. It's cheaper for the Jayhawk Conference. You don't have to, have a whole nother day or two of quarterfinal matchups. So I get it, but no, I'd rather see it on a neutral floor.
Yeah, Salinos did such a great job with that, but that was back in the day again, Cole. Back in the days.
And then the next thing we can talk about on a different show is they need to get it out of Friends University.
They need to get out of Wichita.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hartman wasn't bad. Park City's fine. Even at Coke, everyone's like, it's too big at Coke Arena. It was like, at least it's a nice facility, but I know the NAIA championships or at least the first couple rounds are down at Hartman Arena. So yeah, I see how things are getting.
It was
booked
always
up.
a festival, and you go to some of these tournaments. You got the MIAA, or when the RMAC used to have it in Denver, and all the teams were. You got to know.
Yeah, you get to see your buddies too, your broadcasting buddies.
Your
That's always
buddies,
fun. Yeah,
you know, and teams. It was just like a festival. You know?
I agree.
Ever since going to Wichita at Coke Arena and going in there, and the hospitality room had a bowl of bugles. I haven't got over that.
You saw it coming, then you saw this change in the format coming after you saw the bowl of bugles.
One bowl of stinking bugles was the only. I mean, I'm not like needing steak or things like that, but maybe bugles and maybe some slices of cheese or something.
I agree. We don't ask for much. Just a nice spot courtside to call a game and a nice hospitality room.
I mean, we just need to put have Renner in charge of it. He can make popcorn. That'd be a little bit better. So, all right, Cole, thanks. Have a great call. You feel good?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, this is a fun time of the year, so let's go get it.
Okay, Cole Reif with us here. All right, we are going to have a celebration. State champs are getting ready to come into this studio as we speak. We'll be back on Sports Day right after this.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Reif, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
At Clara Barton Medical Clinic, we are more than just your healthcare provider. We are your friends, your family, and your neighbors, and are here for you through every stage of life. Our clinic offers a variety of services under one roof, including routine exams, vaccinations, specialty services, same-day appointments, and walk-in clinic. There's no better feeling than receiving friendly and compassionate care from the people you know and trust. Clara Barton Medical Clinic. Hometown care from hometown people.
The Eagle Radio Home and Garden Show, presented by Comfort Pro, returns to the Great Bend Events Center on Saturday, March 25th. Stop by between 9 and 4 to see the latest products and innovations for your home and garden. You might win $1,000 to spend with one of our participating vendors. The Eagle Radio Home and Garden Show, presented by Comfort Pro, Saturday, March 25th. Participating businesses include Mattress Solutions, Magna Dry Cleaning, Steeder Contractors, Empire Improvements and Overhead Doors, Summit Roofing, and Paradise Bonds.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
We're going to have to get a bigger studio. We need to knock that wall down and extend this thing out, especially if we're going to have state champions in our studio. The 2023 state champion Great Bend Lady Panther bowling team is with us. Mike Corson. Been talking about this team all season long, and, well, they're here right now. So they've signed a new bowling pin. We have the 2 state championships, the boys in 2013, the girls in 2017, and now we've got a new one in here, Michael.
And I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves since there's so many of them.
I am Zoe Mayberry. Alaya Freiberger. Sahara Shiha. Paige Heine. Kayla Moormeyer. Emily Nelson.
And you have the coach.
We do have David. That's the first time I'm meeting him.
Yep, Coach David Feldbauer.
Coach Jordan Cheteshka.
So, girls, I'm going to start off with, like, basketball, football, there's a horn. When you're ahead when the horn sounds, you win. How different is bowling compared to
those sports, and kind of when did you guys have an idea you were going to win?
We kind of just finish the Bakers games and then we wait around to see the final results for the end of the tournament. So we were sitting there waiting, and I remember Coach David being like, "Oh, you guys might have made top 4." And as we were sitting there waiting for the results, they announced 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and then that's when we realized we won is when they had said 2nd place, and it wasn't us.
And Kaylin,
You can come up to that mic right there if you want to.
State champion last year, and I know you had struggled early, but finished your other 2 games strong. And Coach said you were very solid in the Baker games. But even if you guys were sitting in first, how easy was it to lose that lead in those Baker games?
It would have been really difficult to lose those points in Baker games because, I mean, once we get down, our scores goes down. So I say when we keep our energy up, and we knew, even coming back after singles, all of us had very, very high series. So I knew that Bakers were going to be very solid.
Salina South had beat you guys in regionals just a week before, and so that was probably going to be the competition. Zoe, you led the team with a 6th place finish at state. What was the attitude with getting beat by Salina South just 7 days earlier?
I mean, it didn't feel great to not win regionals, so I was going into state with, we're going to win this, we're going to do our best, we're going to pull great, and we did that, so I'm very proud.
And Zoe's just a freshman, but she's a Mayberry. Is it safe to say maybe you grew up with a bedroom at the bowling alley?
Oh, yeah, I grew up at the bowling alley. I was out there all the time, and I still am.
And we're going to talk about this shot that was at the North Rock lanes. A lot lower scores. When I saw the scores, I was surprised based on what you guys had done earlier in the year. They talk about the sport shot or whatever it was that was on the lane. How difficult was that to adjust to for state?
It was pretty difficult to adjust to, but once we started to get the hang of it, our scores started to go up.
And Zoe, individually for you, we had 3 top 10 finishers. You were 6th overall. A little bit of a slow start. What did you do the last 2 games of the series to pick it up?
I just started asking for some more help with some easy spares or maybe switching balls, what ball to use. But my first game just had some really easy misses that I just adjusted to get my next 2 games.
Kaylin, you were reigning state champ. What were the expectations? Was there extra pressure going into this year?
Yeah, there was definitely extra pressure going into this year. Yeah, when I got to the bowling alley, all my nerves kind of shot up, and I mean, my scores were not where I wanted them to be, and the shot was a little tougher this year, but my girls pulled it out, and also I was able to come back in Bakers and help them out.
Let's talk about another record you guys had. If up at Hayes, you set the score record for the combined series and Baker games. That was late in the year. What's the key to being that consistent?
Being that consistent, really. I mean, picking up your spares. I mean, asking for help, moving your feet. I mean, keeping our energy up, keeping each other's energy up. I mean, if we get mad, I mean, just try to have as much energy as you can. I mean,
And we can talk about football and basketball too. The basketball goal is always 10 feet high. The ball's round. Every time you guys go out, you're kind of getting a different finish on the lanes. Maybe your ball reacts differently. How do you react to that every time out?
You just ask for help, and you make sure that you communicate with everybody, and you just hope that everything works out.
How big are I know like the college was in here. They've got the devices that track rotations and all that. You guys using that stuff? So how big are your markers on the floor in determining where you're going to be all day?
Big enough.
We typically just aim for a specific arrow that's out there, and then you just try to hit that or like within one board away from that mark.
What, 3 seniors on this year's team? 2 seniors. Where does the team go after this?
They'll just keep working and keep getting more people on there and just work to improve and keep winning and doing good.
And Kaylin, I was writing up the results all year. I always wanted to see that 700 game. You have the school record, and what's that?
752.
Well, how close did you get this year?
Not very close. I had my highest was the 692 this year in Hayes. I was hoping to come back to state with another 700 or a close 700. That didn't quite happen, but I mean, if you have bad days, you have bad days.
Mike Corson talking with the state champion Lady Panther bowling team. And one more on that regard. I think the time you had the 692, it was like a 246, 256. Can't do the math in my head real quick, but you don't need a whole lot to get to 700. How disappointing? Or do you just say, not my last game?
Yeah, I kind of felt that way after that day. Going into regionals, that first game in regionals was pretty low, and then I shot back-to-back 240s, and I was like, got myself back up to almost the 650. So I was very happy with that, too.
And, Coach, we'll get you in here, WAC champions, and we had talked about right when you guys won some big finishes before. How nice to get these girls over the hump the final time.
It was really good. Just watching them bowl this year was exciting. They always were out there competing, having a great time. Especially the senior night, the girls were all amped up. They were making that bowling alley scream. They were having a great time. Even the parents were talking about that for a couple days afterwards, how loud and how ambitious our girls are and how good they are as a team. So it has been a great year. They're our WAC champs. We got the player of the year. Took second at regionals and then first at state. So it's been a great year so far.
You lose the two kids, and obviously Kaylin's kind of been a leader all year, but freshman steps up and leads you at state. How exciting to have a key group back for you.
Yeah, we got 4 returning next year. That's going to be really tough, and they're going to keep on performing and getting a lot better. And I know I have a couple girls coming up next year as freshmen that are going to be able to compete really well. So we're still going to have a really strong team for the next couple of years. So it's going to be good.
Coach, you talked about these guys making some noise. What was it like after you found out you won?
Oh, a lot of tears. A lot of tears. Our fan base is huge. I think we probably had one of the biggest fan bases there at state, and they were cheering so loud at state. It was great. But yeah, it was a real impressive just watching these girls just enjoy the moment and just being so excited to win state.
Ladies, where do you go after you win a state championship? I mean, where do you go for lunch?
Yeah.
Chipotle, the restaurant of state champions, right? That's awesome.
No, but so Coach tells you after the series that you're setting 3rd and 4th, and you still got the Bakers games to go. Which one of you said that you were just going to give up at that point?
Wait.
He told us that we maybe got top 4, and my heart just sunk. I mean, like, I wasn't coming in cocky, but I mean, after we've had such a great year, I mean, you can't not be excited to possibly win state. I mean, he told us we came in maybe top 4, and I just about lost it. I mean, I was very disappointed, but pulled out a win.
And Zoe, I think the last question here, you had said you guys had an idea of where you were, or you did, based on some other teams' Baker scores. How do you stay in that moment versus checking those other scores?
It's really hard. David kept getting on us for looking at other lanes and other people's scores, and it was a little nerve-wracking seeing how well they were shooting. But I mean, we pulled out and we came home with a win.
Class 5 to 1A state champions. Congratulations, girls.
Whose birthdays today?
3 birthday girls
okay.
today.
All right.
Emily Nelson, Kaylin Wallmeyer, and Paige Heine's birthdays are all today.
All on this.
2 of them are in the same year.
All three.
All 3 of them are in the same year. That's unbelievable.
That's an omen right there. Wow, guys, thanks for coming in today. And what's the toughest class you guys are missing here right now?
College algebra.
Anytime, just give us a call, okay? Guys, thanks a lot. Congratulations, Coach. Great job. Thanks for getting them down here today. All right, we're going to talk some Stafford High School basketball coming in studio right after this here on Sports Day on KVGB.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Explore the world of Rossum's Universal Robots presented by Barton Theater with multiple showings from March 2nd through the 4th and March 9th through the 11th. In this sci-fi suspense classic, humans have created robots meant to serve humankind, but the robots have other plans and an epic battle between man and machine erupts. The show has been adapted and modernized by Barton Theater from the original 1921 production. Visit shows.bartonccc.edu for tickets.
Some of us were born to farm. Some diesels, like Cenex Premium Diesel, were born to fuel. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn to reduce particulate matter and keep filters cleaner for longer. Fuel your equipment like a pro with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and leave typical number 2 diesel to the amateurs. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-355-4107 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-355-4107. That's 800-355-4107. What do you have to lose? Call 800-355-4107. Again, 800-355-4107.
Don't feel bad if you're not a phone expert. That's what we're here for. At Nextech Wireless, we'll help you in the transition to a new device step by step. Want to customize the screen? We've got you. Have questions about some of the functions? We're happy to help. You're not just another number to us. Come see us today and we'll get you into the best phone for your needs. We're friends. We're neighbors. We are Kansas. Nextech Wireless.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. It is March Madness week. It is state championship week. Hey, maybe if these guys go ahead and go in and win one, we can have them come back next week for a state championship celebration. Talk about the Stafford Trojans who are in today. Cole Smith is the coach. He is in here. Josh Hildebrand, an experienced radio veteran, is back. He was here during the football season after that successful campaign. Also in studio today, we have Colson Minks right there, okay, and Dakota Rodriguez all in with us today. So I had to dig this up a little bit, but here's the matchups in the first round of the Class A state tournament in 1947, boys. We had Liberal taking on Hiawatha, Oberlin playing Iola, Russell going against Wamego, Abilene played Hugoton, Buhler played Highland Park. Wow. And Stafford's first-round matchup was against Beloit. Good ball game. Beloit comes out on top, 43-38. And here we are. That was 1947. We're here in 2023. Coach Smith, congratulations, man. That's. I know you're probably tired of hearing that, but that's for us in the media. That's a big thing you want to go with. But man, 1947 is a long time. How excited is the community down there about having the Trojans back in the state tournament?
Oh man, it's been insane.
Yeah, go ahead and pull that mic down a little bit close. There you go.
Yeah, it's been insane. It's just the support. I mean, it started from the moment we won it. I mean, or before we even won it. The people who made the 2-hour-long drive over to Ransom, kind of middle of nowhere. We probably had, I would say, 200-300 fans there for ourselves. So that was great. And then getting home, and we had probably 70-80 people on Main Street waiting for us. And after that, we had organizations in town. They went ahead and bought every student in the district, bought them one of our state shirts, and we boys got meals taken care of all week. So it's been awesome. It's been a whirlwind, but it's been awesome.
I don't know. I felt you guys were maybe overlooked a little bit. You got Maxville down the road. Everybody's talking about Pawnee Heights all year. Just Jim Mazunas. I was talking Stafford Trojans all year long. Yeah. And you guys were kind of flew under the radar all season long.
Yeah, we kind of knew that was going to happen. Program that probably hasn't had a lot of success, but I'm a guy with a really big chip on my shoulder, and it's really kind of rubbed off on these guys, and so it's it's just kind of been our identity. We always know we're going to be underlooked. We always know we're going to be the underdog, even though we don't believe that. And that's just our goal, is always catch people by surprise. We can just go out. We believe we can play with anybody, and it doesn't matter. We played 5A schools in the summer. We played 4A schools. We played Holcomb 3 times this summer. And hung with them, and that's a historic program. And so we got a confident group of guys. We just all we have to be on the same page all the time. So
I got a question for you. So when you came back from Ransom, did you speed coming through town?
Yeah, our bus driver Emily, man, she was booking it. We actually almost beat the pep bus back home, and we had to clean up the locker room. And Colson and Josh and Dylan, they're always the last people out of the locker room, and so we're always waiting probably 30, 45 minutes for them 3. And we actually caught the pep bus like outside of St. John, and we had to slow down so that they could get into town and get set up. So.
Well, the only thing I said that because I wasn't aware that you were also on the Stafford Police Force.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about your background and how you got this job this year, 3rd year.
So I actually moved to Stafford back in 2017. These guys were in 7th grade, and I moved there to be the assistant for the varsity, and then I kind of helped out with middle school. With Colson's dad was their coach, and my now fiance, she was the assistant, so I kind of helped out a little bit, and I did that for a year, and then I got into law enforcement, so I kind of took 2 years off, and then back in 2020, it was about 10 days before the season started, I got the job, like November 6th of 2020, and it was a job that I wanted. I mean, it was really my dream job. I wouldn't have picked a better job for myself. I wanted to create something of my own, and I wanted to do it with these guys. I didn't want to do it with anybody else.
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Ulysses, Johnson. I claim Johnson. That's just hometown to me.
Okay, I got you. Okay. All right. Josh, Hildebrand, you were in here after the football season, and, it kind of ended on a sour note and everything, and I know I asked you, well, man, your senior season's off to a pretty good start. Well, I would say that it's going really good right now, huh?
Yes, sir, yeah.
Yeah, so tell me about the game with Pawnee Heights. I mean, you going in there, and just how did the game go, and how did that clock seem like it was even going down?
Yeah, that was a worry for us, but I think before the game, a lot of anticipation. First time, or it's not the first time we've been in that game, but we really felt like that was our game to win. We knew Alec Carlson is a great player, one of the best in the state, but we had a good game plan. We executed the game plan, and at that point, it was just stay ahead. We'd get up by 8, 9, and then he'd hit a couple more step-back threes, and we'd get up by 8, 9, hit a couple more step-back threes, but we just kept chipping away, and the clock kept ticking, and we won the game. So,
what was it like?
It was.
I mean, tell me, I've never got to experience that moment.
It was electric, but you don't really feel it until the end. We were. I felt like I was locked in. I can't say the same for everyone else how they were experiencing it, but I didn't really. I knew the crowd was there. You don't really notice them during the game, but after the game, we lift up the plaque. Everyone's excited. The whole town feels like it's up there, yelling for you. So it's a great atmosphere. It's a great feeling, especially to win that. After losing it last year on our home court too, and just to have that same support when we're 2 hours away is a great thing to have.
Colson Minks, you've had a pretty good senior year too, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, after a good football season, you come in there. What was your biggest concern going into the Pawnee Heights game? I mean, what were the things that Coach Smith was, ramming into your brain to make sure you guys remembered?
First, we need to stop Alec Carlson, and whoever's not guarding Carlson need to have great help defense, need to be in the paint if you're more than 2 passes away. So if he drives, he have good help, and then close out if he passes.
Was Carlson the main, I guess, emphasis, or you kind of if someone else make him prove that they could stay hot during a game?
Yeah, that was our main focus, but they had another kid, number 12. I don't know his name, but he's a solid player. And then they have a couple bigs. They have one big, I think number 30. I don't know his name either, but yeah, we just need to stay solid on them.
And then Dakota, come on up here. So congratulations. How's it feel going to the state?
Pretty good.
Are you like a celebrity now? I mean,
It feels like it.
Well, it's got to be neat. Your feelings through the game. I mean, take me through it. First quarter, second quarter. I mean, you get
First quarter, it was excellent. It was like, well, I'm really excited that we have a great team, and coach was pretty good, and it was just magical. And like the second quarter, they got up pretty good, and we're there. So,
were you? Who was guarding Carlson?
It was Dakota started out on it, and then we kind of switched Jimmy Olsen, our junior, who kind of stole the show offensively for us that night, and then our senior Dylan Gantz, he'd been up here before, but Dakota guarded him most of the game. And Dakota, I'll brag on Dakota right now. Like, he's probably one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best guard defenders in the state, not just in our league and in our division. He's probably one of the best in the state. And if you go back, if you get bored, go back and watch the last 2 minutes of the ball game and see what he did against Carlson. That was insane. It was amazing. He tipped 2 of his shots, forced him into step backs with hands in his face. He hit 1, but I mean, he played great the last 2 minutes.
You've got some depth on this team, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We actually got some kids that don't play that probably, they're pretty dang good too. So,
okay, now you get sports day today, and everybody's watching, everybody's listening to what's going on. Now you got to get ready to play.
Yeah.
So South Central Thunderwolves. See, I'm older. I remember when they just used to be the Coldwater Eagles, but that was way back. So tell me about South Central, Coach.
They're kind of a young team from just listening to some broadcasts that I've watched film on, and they're a solid team. They got a couple quick guards. They got a big kid that's going to match up really well with Josh. They're physical. They're fast. I think we match up really well with them. They're going to get the game plan hammered in them when we get back to town, but it's going to be, we got to rebound the ball for one, and we got to take care of it. And I think if we do those two, I think we'll be all right. Execute offensively, but that was one thing we did not do well against Pawnee Heights, was just execute. We're just lucky we got good players that made some plays for us. So Colson kind of took over in the third quarter against Pawnee, and Jimmy Olsen hit 4 first-half threes, and that was crazy. Josh took over in the second half and then made some plays in the second quarter, and then, I don't know, he had 4 or 5 blocks in the fourth quarter alone that, got us going too. So,
Dakota, you're sitting, I mean, we're still a couple days away from this thing getting underway, but what are your feelings right now here heading to state tournament?
I'm really excited. I never been, like, all of us never been like that. So I think it will be pretty good. It's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, Colson, it's, I love Barton as far as being a venue for this because, man, it's going to be loud. They do a lot of cool things. So, I mean, what are your feelings right now getting ready to go to state tournament?
I went there last year. I think I went each of the 3 days, and it's pretty electric there because it's a small college, so it's not like a huge gym, but it's all close. And, of course, it's basketball, so the fans are right there. And, yeah, it'll be loud and fun.
Yeah, you will know that you're at the state tournament. That's really cool. So, so when you were there last year, you're thinking, yeah, well, this might not be a bad thing to come back here and get a play in this stinking thing.
I was because we were 2 minutes away from doing that last year, and then a couple things didn't go our way. But
Josh, how hard is it to get late in the game and start thinking, man, oh, God. Well, I know the game's going on. You're not sitting there thinking about, oh, well, last year we didn't get it done. But that probably made it sweeter this year, huh?
Yes, it definitely did. To come back and capitalize and improve on things from last year is definitely something we've done well this year. But still, we have to work on consistency, and we'll have spurts of great offense, in third quarter, Colson or Jimmy in the first half. But we need to have that consistent offensive output throughout the whole game, because that is probably why we lost last year and have lost some games this year, is just not having that 100% of the time.
Cole Smith, you're the chef on this whole thing. So what's the big ingredient that you've got to make sure you put in every recipe for Stafford Trojan basketball every game if you want to go out there and play your best?
I mean, our biggest thing is energy and effort, going out and competing every minute. I was a three-point shooter in high school, probably not the greatest, and when I got in college, probably not the greatest defender, but I kind of trying to make, in this coaching thing, making defense my calling card, and so we guard at a high level, and I think that's always got to be our calling card, is going out and defending as best as we can, and that's going to be for years to come with us, So not just with this team, but teams that follow, it's always going to be defense first, and that's my recipe, honestly.
That's awesome. Okay, real quick, Josh and Dakota and Colson, give me your parents here.
Jason and Carrie Hildebrand.
Okay, I'm not going to get into the Hildebrand family tree this time again. Okay, Colson.
Nick and Katie Minks.
Okay, Dakota?
Patricia Berge and Francisco Rodriguez.
Man, thanks for coming up here, Cole. Thanks for making it happen. And good luck, man. Go Trojans.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay,
Thanks for having us.
Stafford basketball in here today on Sports Day.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Chris, this needs to go to Parkville by 3.
Joy to the holiday packages that keep coming at Jimenez Couriers.
Offers coming your way, but the drop-off location is changing.
She needs delivery drivers with the gift of punctuality.
Anyone looking to pick up some overtime? Anyone?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Dan. Dan uses Navy Federal Credit Union to save and invest. Luckily for him, Navy Federal takes the legwork out of managing his money, which gives Dan time to work on other things, like his new auctioneering hobby. If you want to be like Dan, learn about our savings and investment options at NavyFederal.org/save and invest. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Bidder number 63.
Savings products insured by NCUA. Investment options are available through Navy Federal Investment Services and are not insured by NCUA.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Day here, wrapping things up here on a Tuesday. All right, tomorrow. You guys don't mind sharing the Maxville Mustangs are going to be in the same studio tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Is that okay? Yeah. You're rooting for them, man. Stafford County getting.
Yeah, man. Stafford County, we're a basketball county, man.
Yeah, St. John girls almost got in there too. That would have been wild. So yeah, Maxville will be in here tomorrow. Head coach Jeff Kuckelman, his 3 captains will be in. Lacrosse Leopards tomorrow, and they have to play in the first round of the 1A D1 tournament. So we'll hear from them tomorrow. And Connor Nichols, Sports in Kansas, and our KVGB high school basketball insider will give us a preview on all 12 tournaments that are going to be taking place across the state. Starting tomorrow, again, go to GreatBendPost.com and see all the matchups and who you'll play in the next round. Hopefully we just pencil in Chalk, Stafford all the way across the board. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Sports Day.